All right. It's Jared here from Crypto Plan. How's everyone doing? Hope we're all doing well after the mad day we had yesterday in crypto. Whoa, what a day. Some nice chilled out beats just to kind of, get us a little bit calm about the mayhem yesterday. Now, I don't know about you, but I was just glued to the screen. I was absolutely glued to the screen. And because I was expecting it, there was nothing really I could do or not do. I was never going to sell, and I wish I could have bought more, but, I ended up grabbing a little bit of ICP this morning and it's bounced back nicely. So, other than that, bought some blockchain miners, Riot blockchain, on the dip there as well, hoping that will do well in the next leg up. That's a good leverage way to play Bitcoin, like when Bitcoin goes up, it'll go up by 3 times, 4 times maybe. So yeah, that's a good one. But yeah, before we get into this kind of V-shaped recovery talk, because that's what we're talking about now, is how we come out of here, how it's going to look like. Please like the video, please subscribe and click the notification bell as well, if you so desire anyway. All right, so we've got our Coinbase chart here. The event has happened that I predicted. It's not like I predicted, it's just I saw it, about a month ago. I did the video about it, so we're all anticipating it if you're watching and paying attention. I was expecting it to kind of just retest, a couple of these wicks here, which it did, and then it just crashed further. And I think that's more to do with the margin calls. So I think when the margin calls come in and then people start having to probably sell their altcoins to pay for the margin calls, and then everything just went mayhem, didn't it? So a huge liquidity event. But yeah, hopefully everything's sorted now. We've shaken out all the weak hands, and maybe they're the ones that are going to buy back in at the top again to get things rolling again. But anyway, I definitely didn't sell anything. I wish I had have sold, a week ago, right here. I wish I had have sold a fair bit on the 10th of May and then bought back in. But this season, this market cycle is definitely a learning curve for me, and I'm doing that by watching and learning. So, yeah, that's the main thing. What we want to know is what Bitcoin is going to do next to lead the show and potentially take us into alt season. Now, I want to see a V-shaped recovery, and I'm going to kind of talk through that, and what that looks like. So we've done the crash. I'm going to delete everything off this chart, get rid of it altogether. So we need to see this action. So it's not just a V-shaped recovery from yesterday. It's a V-shaped recovery from this point, because this is where we want to retrace to. This is where we want to see some resistance come in, a little bit of a tap off, and then kind of push through the all-time high after that. So let's get our trend angle out and just have a look at, if we were to pull back down somewhere in there, that's 82%. And then start from there again and do another 82%. Okay, so that's basically, so we're going to get the pen out now. So essentially we want to follow this kind of trajectory out of there, hit somewhere around there, pull back, and then kind of fly onto the upside, right? And that is going to give us, some confidence that what happened yesterday is normal and was meant to happen and all of that sort of stuff. So V-shaped recoveries, like the one in March and like, this kind of mini one here, are fairly important, kind of like a reset. And that's what we're looking at, So if it busts straight through and goes up, that's probably a little bit too bullish. We want to kind of see it tap off this resistance, pull back a little bit, and then kind of fire to the upside there. So that's what I'm thinking and seeing. And because we did that, the same angle in, same angle out kind of scenario, 29th of May. So let's say by the 1st of June, if we're not testing those all-time highs, then we kind of got to rethink things a little bit, So potentially could be earlier, could potentially be a little bit later, but around there we want to see that we're kind of following that line. So we'll keep us all updated on that. And just a reminder to why I'm kind of looking for it to kind of not hit the all-time highs straight up is what kind of happened back here in 2017 in this not identical structure, but a similar structure where 1, 2, 3 kind of test at the upside, V-shaped recovery, pulls back up to just below the all-time high, pulls back, and then kind of makes its way up onwards and upwards, right? So that's the theory there of what I feel like should happen. Okay, so I just thought I'd jump over to the ICP chart here. We obviously had our falling knife situation. I was nibbling away at it around the 220 mark, thinking 200 was resistance and hopefully support, but it eventually kind of speared through that because of the Bitcoin events that have just unfolded. But it's really good today to see that we've got this 4-hour candle that's, in the 50%. So we've really kind of more than recovered out of the bottom there. And we're probably going to be testing that 193 level there by the volume defined node as a resistance level to flip a support. So I'd like to see the price action jump above that and then use that as a support line, which was kind of where my head was at, longer term, is that we'll build a triangle here that the floor is 200 and the ceiling is kind of angular, and then eventually we'll kind of break out of there. So that's good. That'll unplay there. This wick here is kind of a good thing. So we can start thinking about some trend lines. So once again, we'll delete everything and start again. Go over and grab a trend line and, maybe kind of start calling this our breakout line. So once, if we pull back again, go sideways and try and test that, see if we can break out of that, we might get some kind of more aggressive wicks in the coming days and weeks. But, for now, I don't like that it's only 2 points of touch. So I'd kind of like it to consolidate and wick up again, just to give us those 3 points to confirm that. But we'll adjust that as we go. But nonetheless, it's good to see it bounce back. And for all of those that were fearful and had bought quite high, if you held, well, that's great. But, obviously, if you sold, you would have definitely got it at a bargain again. So you might have been able to make up some losses anyway. But either way, the fact that it's come in with such strong volume and strength is a good sign, and it's saying that it wants to be around the 200 mark, which is good. So that just gives us an idea of, buying it around there is okay. Buying it right now is probably okay. And just dollar cost averaging in if you're still looking to collect ICP. That's, I guess, something that I've done so far. So I've, dollar cost averaged down rather than waiting for the dip. So that's my personal strategy on this one. Finally, other than that, we just want to look at the One Harmony chart, and I think it held up extremely well. We definitely got the wick like a lot of cryptos did, but it didn't stay down there. And if you look at what Harmony One was doing, which is, a downtrend consolidation, flipped that breakout line into resistance, came down into kind of the apex here of the reversal pattern, and then, it's still above that line right now, which is very solid. If it was staying down here and kind of basing out again at this double bottom would be still okay. But if it was going lower, that would start to be quite bearish, But I think the fact that it held up, it was bullish. The volume came in, buyers came in, and they've snapped up the bargains. Once again, it's showing me that there's confidence in One Harmony, and it's recovered nicely, and it's going to recover nicely. And be interesting to see what happens in the next few days now with One Harmony, because it's already done a double test of this 18 level. So I guess the third attempt for me needs to break through, because once you start doing a triple tap, then you're like a triple top, and that's even a bit scarier itself. So I would like to see this thing just fly through 18, start being testing the all-time high of 22 there, maybe bouncing back a bit and then kind of going to all-time highs for good, and then seeing another one of those good runs would be lovely in One Harmony, because we've definitely spent a lot of time going sideways. So fingers crossed on that, and hopefully the buyers and the believers of One Harmony are here, and they're here with their wallets open. So yeah, just finally to finish off, just to have a look at this Bitcoin dominance chart in a little bit more detail, and just see that kind of near about key level that it decided to do the reversal at. So is that, is this a coincidence, or is this the way markets tend to sort themselves out? As in, we've got this key level there of 39.16, and at the moment, the Bitcoin dominance didn't want to break through that to the downside, so it's done a sharp reversal. It's basically, to me, saying that the market's not quite ready to fly off and go mental and go parabolic, right? Because if it did keep going on this trajectory, which, the Bitcoin dominant has been falling off a cliff lately, and if it kept going at that trajectory, the next thing you know, it'd be to zero, and we'd just be in a mayhem, and parabolic tops everywhere, and just ridiculous amount of euphoria, and I don't think the market's ready yet. I think there is so much happening around us and around the cryptocurrency market that it's not quite time yet for every man and his dog to be going, I cannot not be in crypto, So I think it was kind of like a shakeout event, rattle out the people that were getting a bit too bullish, because I think that over bullishness is bad. I think there should be a battle between bulls and bears, and with obviously the bulls winning in the bull market, but there needs to be that healthy battle, because that gives us that solid, steady price action. But when it's too bullish and people believe they can't lose, and they've got that mentality, then crazy things start happening, and then big crazy collapsy events can happen that can totally break down the market or the chart. So Bitcoin dominance has responded where it needed to, I think, and that event happened at the right time for the market and for the chart. So that's just that's the way I'm seeing things anyway. And hopefully we see a steady rise in everything for a little while. I don't necessarily see the decoupling alt season thing starting yet. If it does, yes, that's maybe a potential that there'll be a separate alt season towards the end of the year. But I'd probably just see more everything moving together, everything pushing to the upside, and you're having your kind of laggards that do really well to catch up with the other ones. So it wouldn't be surprising to see XRPs, Dashes, EOSs just really push their all-time highs and make new highs, while everything else just jostles for where it needs to be. So that's my 2 cents. Only time will tell, and only the future will tell the history, or create the history, that whether I'm right or wrong, or whether I'm seeing things right. But I just think, like I said, crypto halftime, the show, the crazy halftime show is pretty much over, and now we're probably going to get back into that battle, like two teams on the field, Bulls versus Bears, and let's just have the Bulls winning, but not winning by a complete flogging, so that's the way I'm seeing it anyway. So I've been Jared, this has been Crypto Plan, and like the video if you haven't already. It really helps me out. And subscribe and notification bell, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye now.